Hi guys, Zach here with another Command & Conquer Red Alert video. In this game I'm playing a quick match game on the map Path Beyond. I'm playing in the bottom right and as the Soviets. And my opponent in this game is the Doc, who's also playing in the Soviets and starting in the top left. Now for those, most of you will know who the Doc is. He's obviously one of the best players in this game, usually ranked in the top 10. So this is going to be a really hard game, and you can see what I'm doing at the start. I'm building 15 infantry, and I know what the Doc's like. You might have seen I've put 3 infantry at the bottom of their base, and what I'm doing there is I'm just defending against a possible engineer rush, because I know the Doc likes to sometimes do alternative tactics, and if I'm engineer rushed at the bottom of my base, I don't want to lose my construction yard early on. However, if he does try an engineer rush, it would give me a really good advantage, because it would cost him a lot of money, and if he didn't get that construction yard, well, basically it would be an absolute disaster. And you can see there's a bit of damage done to that bridge. I don't know if it's normally like that, or whether he sent some bombermen over, because sometimes he might have sent some bombers over to try and get one of my power plants. And you can see at the moment I'm sending my ore truck to get some of those gems from that ore patch there, because getting a good start in quick match, it's essential. You have to. The start is just so important. It's very hard to pull back if something goes wrong there. And what you can see is now I'm going to this ore patch here, and what I'm doing is I'm selecting Pacific ore to mine, because what you're going to see I'm going to do here is I'm going to place a small power plant in that little gap there, and then I'm going to place an ore silo. And what I'm doing is I'm making sure I can expand like past that ore patch up to the ore at the top, and because if you only mine ore like right next to your base, eventually it's going to run out. And also there are some gems up at the top, so that's where I'm expanding to. And at the moment, you can see there's been no engineer rushes so far. So the longer it goes on, the more likely it is that there is going to be no engineers coming. But I think it's important, obviously, to take that precaution when you're playing someone like the Doc. And you can see there, I'm getting my second war factory down. Now on this map, I do go for 2 ore refineries before my second war factory. It just tends to work best on this map. This map's not great for rushes, really. It's it's quite long because of the lakes in the middle to get to your opponent's base, and you can see your opponent's base. You've got like narrow bits, so it's a bit easier to defend. So what you tend to do for this map is people tend to go for a more economic style approach, and which is what I've done right here. And judging by the fact there's been no attacks so far, I think it was definitely the right approach to take. And what you can see is I'm now going on to my 3rd war factory, and the reason we're doing that is to increase our building speed, because you can see I've got lots of ore in the bank, and if it's in the bank, it's no use on the battlefield. So we're getting that 3rd war factory built, and you can see that the Doc's got a lot of infantry, so this is quite a strange thing. I haven't really come across this before. Well, I've come across infantry before, but not at this stage of the game, and a big bunch of them like that. What we'll do is we'll just try and squash them over with our tanks. I don't know if he's trying to do a bit of... Yeah, I mean, he's done quite a bit of damage to some of my tanks, so that might have not be... I don't know, it might be. But it's cost him a lot of money as well, so... I don't know. Right, okay, so we need to pull back right now, so that was probably a bit of a bad engagement for me there. I got a bit reckless and sort of dived in there. So I did lose a couple of tanks. Maybe I shouldn't have just there. So we're pulling back, grouping our tanks together. And this is, you can see it's a heavy tank fight between the Soviets. And it's sort of, it seems to be quite even actually, despite that initial engagement. So yeah, it's just about, it's just about using Q move. For those of you who play quick match a lot, you probably know when you hold down Q, it allows your tanks just to target, keep on targeting something, and it allows you to move your tanks around easier. So the aim of the game is just to move your tanks as much as possible, because if you move your tanks, you get less direct hits. And it's also about the tanks you target. it's probably best to target tanks in the middle group of your tanks. And you can see I was just falling behind there in tank numbers, and I've just had to sell my construction yard just to get that a few more tanks out and pick up the momentum again. And you can see, yeah, I'm starting to pick up the momentum again. Okay, I know some people don't like to sell construction yard, but sometimes it's your only choice. And you can see the tide of the battle's turned, and now the Docs on the retreat. And I just have to make the most of it, because if he's still got a construction yard, he could still be building his economy. But you can see I've got the tank numbers at the moment, and this is looking very, very good. It's very dangerous for the Doc here. And right, so you can see engineer, little man coming out from him, civilian. He's done exactly the same thing I've done now. He's sold his construction yard, and it's just, yeah, you just can't let your opponent get that upper hand like that. So I had to sell the construction yard when the Doc was near my base. He's had to sell his construction yard, and when I've got the upper hand and was getting towards his base. So far we're sort of mirroring each other's moves in a way, and yeah, we're looking quite good at the moment, and we're just getting those good tank kills. And it's just because I sold that construction yard first, I got a few good tank kills, I got the upper hand, I got the greater tank numbers, and it sort of helped carry me forward. Although it does look like at the moment the Doc is starting to build those numbers up a little bit again, so I just have to keep my cool, keep moving my tanks around, just play my best game, because when you're playing someone like the Doc, tiny mistakes make a big difference. And you can see there, again, I'm starting to, every time I seem to get the upper hand though, he seems to just be able to pull it back, although he is quite low on tanks now. Now you might wonder why I'm not going for those ore trucks, which probably might be a decent choice, but I don't want to leave my base wide open. It's because when you're in a tank battle as close as this, yeah, I screwed that up a little bit. I sort of dived in a bit there, and you can see that's a really narrow gap, so it like sort of splits your tanks apart, and he was just grouping his tanks up. So that was really smart play from the Doc there, and he's managed to get back into this tank battle. We've got about even tank numbers again, so I'm not going to be doing that in a hurry. You can just see it's sort of like that gap is just quite narrow. He grouped his tanks in there, and when you like obviously chase him, your tanks split up, and he got a few good shots there, and he got right back into the game. Right, so now it's just literally really, really difficult. Just picking up the correct tanks to fight. And I do have the better numbers at the moment, so it looks like he might try and pull back. He might try and do the same thing again. He's got a couple of low tanks there, and it's looking good for me at the moment. We're able to, because as soon as we get the bigger tank numbers, we have more shots, and you can see he's going to pull into that gap again. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to wait out here, because he does have ore trucks coming out to collect gems from the top right. And there it is. I'm going to go for that ore truck now, and he's going to force him to come out. And it was close, and I just don't want to try and chase that ore truck right through his heavy tanks, because I know it's got one hit. One hit is all it'll take, but yeah, it's just it'll be dangerous to just to try and go through those heavy tanks, possibly let him get the upper hand. And you can see, because I didn't go into that narrow gap this time, it's put me in a much better position, and I've got the better tank numbers at the moment. And now I'm going to have to take the risk of going into that gap, because I do have much better numbers. Yeah, there's a couple of tanks down there, and you can see this is looking quite well for me at the moment. Yeah, it's just moving around as much as we can, and you can see he's struggling at the moment, but it's looking decent for us. We've got a few infantry there as well, actually, and you can see he's trying to pull out the gap now. I mean, at the moment it's, should I go for the ore trucks? Yeah, you can see I went for the ore truck then, just going for that ore truck for a few shots. You can see it's put him right back into the game. So that was a bit of a misplay from me again. I mean, it's just so close. And what you can see at the moment is that I'm struggling for ore. So I'm going to have to probably think about selling that one of those war factories. Because I've got 3 war factories, which is great for building speed, but there's no point in having an increased building speed if you can't build, if you haven't got the ore to build. So we've sold our war factory there. You can see the Doc's pulling back. He doesn't want to dive in. And I mean, this is just so close. It's just about not doing anything reckless. And you can see at the moment Doc's got quite good numbers. But what I am going to go for is I'm going to go for that ore truck. And you can see he's having to pull out now. Because what I want to do really is pull him to me. It just puts him in a little bit worse position when he's in tank numbers. So you can see I've grouped my tanks up there together. And there's a few infantry coming out, so I think he's sold some buildings probably. Maybe done the same as I have with the 3rd war factory. So yeah, it does seem like we're mirroring each other quite a bit in this game. Right, I'm probably not going to try and dive into his base. That would probably be a bad choice at the moment, because I'd just lose all my tanks and lose the upper hand. But this is it looks like I'm struggling a little bit now for tank numbers, so I'm just going to pull back and regroup. Because what you can see is happening is the ore is running out, and in the bottom right of the map, I think you do have a little bit of a better position compared to the top left. For the top left, it was very hard to expand, and we know that yellow. The Doc, he can't expand because he sold his construction yard. So at the moment we might have the better position in terms of ore, and those gems I think he was mining earlier on, they've ran out, and he's having trouble securing any dominance in this like middle part, which we've got at the moment. So our trucks are able to make use of those middle gems, and you can see I've got good numbers at the moment, and this is looking very good. We can see the Doc's only got 5 tanks at the moment, and this might be the defining fight. Yeah, and you can see with superior tank numbers, I'm able to make quite light work of those tanks, and he's being pushed back now. And I think this, unless he's got a couple of tanks going around the other side, I think he's struggling for ore and his production's being cut. But we can see my base is absolutely fine at the moment. And what is the case of doing? Any tanks he produces, just destroy them first and then go for the buildings when we get chance. And you can see I don't think there's any way he can come back, and that's good game. Now you might think, hang on a minute, how did I win that? Because this is the Doc we're talking about, and we did play the similar strategy, and there's no doubt if we play, like, Doc is a better player than I am, and if we do the same strategy, then he should always win. So what I did is I did have a look at the replay, and this is just it now. Now surprisingly what I noticed is that when I got to my first war factory, I was 5 seconds ahead, which was quite surprising actually, because we should have been the same really. But the big difference is this point here. So you can see on the bottom right of the map, I've built my second ore refinery, and we're still waiting for Doc to build his, and it was actually just about 20 seconds between me building the second ore refinery, about 20 to 25 seconds, and him building his second ore refinery. And that was really what made the difference, because after that I'm able to build my second war factory quicker, I'm able to get tanks out faster. You can see I've got, I think, a couple of tanks out at the moment. I've got my second war factory up. We go to his base, he's just building his first tank now. As I say, his first war factory was slightly delayed after mine, but it was that second ore refinery which was significantly slower to get out. And actually, I think what he was doing when he had all those infantry at the start, he was just buying time to catch up on tank numbers. So there you go, it was a bit of a mistake from the Doc at the start. He probably forgot to build or something, but that just led to it being a really, really close game. So thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed the video.